Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to take a look at some old-fashioned cringe, just some people freaking out over something that they should not be freaking out over. From my understanding, this is taking place at like a lecture or some sort of like Q&A or something at Portland State University, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know was a college, but I mean, you learn something new every day, right? So it really only makes sense that something like this would take place in Portland, right? Like Portland in the US, if you don't know, has gained like this terrible representation because some of the people that live there are just batshit insane and they do batshit insane things. And videos like this definitely don't help their cause, don't make people think they're any more sane than they should be. So basically, during this lecture or whatever, a woman states some of the basic differences between men and women physically, right? Keep in mind, she doesn't say anything too ludicrous. Like, I feel like I actually have a pretty good, sense of when someone's saying something that's actually offensive, and honestly, I didn't take offense to anything that was said. I mean, pretty much everything that was said here is literally just facts. Like, it's undeniable, it's scientifically proven, like the evidence is out there. You can pretty much Google it and you'll figure it out. Like, there'll be actual sources and results there that'll tell you this. It's not like these people are up there just spreading misinformation or saying some bullshit. Like, they're actually correct in what they're saying, and a select few people in the crowd simply couldn't fucking tolerate that, man. Like, they heard this and they just lost their minds. They had to be escorted out. They disrupted the entire event. Basically they just acted like children, because what does a child do when they hear something that they don't like? They throw a fucking temper tantrum and they act out and they just lash out and act ridiculous. And that is exactly what happened to these kids. That's what I'm gonna call them. These are college students, but these are kids. Like, mentally, these people can't be older than like 13, you know what I mean? This is what happens when your parents fail you. Like, genuinely, this is how you end up behaving. An intellectual person who like hears something that they disagree with, they can tolerate that. They don't have to like act the fuck out. They don't have to try and act like they're some sort of martyr of some situation. But I'm gonna go ahead and start playing the video. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and we'll go ahead and react to it as we go along. So let's go ahead and play the video.
Let's look at differences between men and women that are explicitly anatomical and physiological. Are men taller than women on average? Does anyone take offense at that fact? Are you irritated?
There's always a standout.
So I would say you could be irritated by it. You could be irritated by the fact that women have to be the ones to gestate and lactate. You could be irritated by a lot of truths. But taking offense is a...
Alright, so at this point, some of the people start walking out of the event. They heard too much truth and it just upset them to their core, completely rocked them and shook them to their core. The horrible, terrible, factual information of men are taller than women on average. That was enough to upset these people, which is, by the way, just a legitimate fact. It's like saying giraffes have very long necks, or like birds have wings, or pigs like rolling in mud. It's just a fact, you know what I mean? It has nothing to do with how you feel. It has nothing to do with like personal bias or preference. It's just scientific fact that men on average are taller than women. It's just the reality of the world we live in. I mean, even if you like look through the crowd, or like even look at the people sitting on stage, like the vast majority of those men are probably going to be taller than the vast majority of the women in that crowd and on the stage and everything, right? Well, these people couldn't handle that. They had to walk out. And one thing I want to note is, when you look at the people who are walking out and end up causing like a commotion and a big situation out of this whole thing, you'll notice they all look the exact fucking same. Like, it's insane. They've all got like colored, super dyed hair, which I don't have a problem with, you know what I mean? Dye your hair. But they all have like super colorful hair. They all dress fucking ridiculous. Like, they all just look the exact same. It's almost like some sort of like NPC personality trait or something that they have. It's weird because these people want to be different so bad. They want to be so unique and be like the person that stands out, but they all look the exact same. How does that work, guys? So these facts were just too much for people to handle here. Let's go ahead and keep rolling the video, because it gets better.
Is a response that is rejection of reality. So men and women are different on height. They're different on muscle mass. They're different on where fat is deposited on our bodies, right? Our brains are also different. So there.
Security! This is what happens. Oh, did they shut off the volume? Can you hear? Can everybody hear?
All right, so more facts got spit. Once again, none of this stuff is like personal prejudice. None of this stuff is offensive in any way, shape, or form. It's literally just like scientific anatomy facts, you know what I mean? And people got so fucking upset that they disrupted the event because nothing says I'm right like unplugging the other person's microphone so they can't talk. You know, this is a college, so I wouldn't mind like if the students stood up and like tried to debate the people up on stage, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if that's an appropriate response that's like dictated by the event, go right on ahead, like stand up and criticize what they're saying, actually share ideas. But to just go and like unplug the fucking microphones because you don't like anatomy is just insane to me, man. Like, how do these people get accepted into college? Like, I thought you had to be like somewhat intelligent to get accepted into college. Apparently not, man, because this is just the most ridiculous way to act over something very simple. Like, college students back in the day, it feels like, would actually debate things and they would try to use knowledge to defeat other ideas they didn't agree with. Nowadays, college students want to stomp their feet and cry and scream when someone says something they don't like. Like, it feels like there's been such a big societal shift, and the way that people this age act is just radically different than it ever has been before. That's probably not really backed up by fact. I don't really know. I'm not doing any research on this. I'm just saying, like, from my personal observations, to be like 21 years old and acting this fucking way because somebody said something you didn't agree with or like, even though it's backed up by science, is genuinely fucking absurd to me. Like, these people's parents actually failed them. Like, they were not ready for the real world whatsoever, you know what I mean? This is not how people in the real world should be behaving. And you gotta think, these are the people that are gonna lead our world someday, right? The people who are gonna lead our world are quick-tempered, they react horribly to things they dislike, they can't tolerate hearing a perspective or ideas that aren't their own, they sabotage ideas instead of debating them or defeating them, and it gets even worse. We still have more video to go, so go ahead and take a look at this.
Really? He's a piece of shit. That is not okay. Even the women in there have been brainwashed.
Alright, so now the women have been brainwashed for accepting and knowing simple anatomy facts like men are on average taller than women, and men on average have more muscle mass than women. These aren't even like offensive things. That's what really gets me. Like, these aren't even offensive facts, you know what I mean? These are just like the truth of the matter. Like, it's not even offensive. No one's saying that women are inferior or like women are worse because they're shorter than men. They're just saying like, hey, you can be uncomfortable with these facts, but they're still facts of the matter, and like, you have to get over that. But yet they just can't tolerate that. Apparently, if you have an idea that doesn't align with people like this, you've been brainwashed. Like, they literally are acting like fucking children. This is exactly how I would expect third graders to act. It's embarrassing, and they see no problem with it. They see no problem giving the campus security or the campus police a hard time because they can't handle shit on their own. They can't be adult enough to hear somebody out. Like, dude, that's so pathetic to me. These people should genuinely be embarrassed.
Should not listen to fascism. It should not be tolerated in civil society. Nazis are not welcome in civil society.
Fuck the police! Cover the people! Thank you.
Like, what are you actually talking about? Everything in that clip was just ludicrous, to say the least. Like, first and foremost, nothing they said had anything to do with fascism or Nazism, right? Nothing, like, they weren't up there talking about, like, we need to establish a new world order. The Fourth Reich must start today. You know what I mean? Like, they were just stating simple facts like that. Dude, you could tell that to a classroom of first graders and they wouldn't even shrug. Like, that's what's crazy about this. And these people actually lost their minds over it, talking about fascism should not be tolerated in modern civil society. Neither should sabotaging a fucking college hearing because you don't like truth. That shouldn't be accepted in civil society either, but guess what? Causing a disruption to a group of people trying to talk and have a civil discussion shouldn't be tolerated in civil society either, but guess what? And you gotta imagine, oh, you're so tough. You yelled "fuck the police" to the campus cops. Like, congrats, you acted like a frat boy who got too drunk on the weekend and got his party crashed. Good job, you really fucking owned the police officer getting paid $13 an hour to handle rowdy college students. You really did something there, and I'm not talking down on the campus security because honestly, their job's probably tougher than mine. I fucking play video games and talk on the internet for a living, but dude, this is just unacceptable. In my opinion, I know it might sound a little extreme, but I really think they should face some sort of academic punishment for this. I'm not saying they should be kicked out of college or anything like that. I know some people might think that's the way to go, but like, there should be punishments for behaving this way in a college. Like, that's just unacceptable. That's fucking ridiculous. In no way, shape, or form is anything that took place in this video even remotely acceptable. And I feel bad for the people talking on stage because I don't know who they are and like what their personal beliefs are, but like in that instance right there, that was like very disrespectful to them. And frankly, they didn't deserve to have their event put through something like this by some whiny ass college students who are not reality based, you know what I mean? So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, kicking my feet and crying when I hear things I don't like, and signing out.